The best players in the world make hitting driver look so easy. Yet for amateurs, for lots of you down that lens, driver is one scary club that you just don't want to pull out of your golf bag. So what are the best players in the world doing to hit their driver so consistently, straight and long off the tee? These players are doing the golf swing setup basics correct. Whereas I see on a daily basis, amateur golfers struggling with these driver setup basics, which are causing short drives, big slices. Ugh, hate that shot. So if you are struggling to hit long, straight drives with your driver, I've got 3 simple, basic setup tips for you to help you hit your driver how you'd like. I'm going to give you the 3 most common setup mistakes I see amateurs making with their driver, and I'm going to give you 3 simple golf swing tips to correct them. Before we get started though, if you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Coach Lockey, PGA golf professional, and if you're a returning viewer, hello again, welcome back. If you are enjoying the content and the channel, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button, hit the thumbs up and turn all your notifications on if you do enjoy the video and the channel so you don't miss any of my new uploads. These 3 common driver setup mistakes I see on a regular basis are all super important to hitting longer and straighter drives. So make sure you're staying throughout the whole video to check out all 3 and make sure you're doing all of them. Driver setup mistake number 1. I see far too many amateur golfers with poor tilts in their setup. So what I mean by that, generally speaking, the best players in the world, if you put your club down sort of the line of your spine, through your belt buckle and in between your legs, if you stood straight up, it would point right in between your feet. Pros, best players in the world, are tilting slightly away from their target. So that club's going to point more towards my lead foot. Whereas I see amateur golfers tilting completely the opposite way and pointing that club towards their trail foot. So they're tilting more towards the target. They've got a bit of forward tilt or forward bend and then a bit of side bend towards the target as well. This is going to have a massive influence on your shoulder alignment, which will have a massive influence on your club path. So generally speaking, it will move it more out to in. You'll hit more down on your angle of attack. Angle of attack out to in, hitting down on the golf ball. Recipes for straight pulls to the left and big slices to the right and not much distance. So driver setup checkpoint number 1, get that club running down your spine, through your belt buckle, pointing towards your lead foot a little bit. That'll add a bit of tilt away from the target, which is going to help angle attack move up instead of down. It's going to help path straighten out, maybe even move them a little into out to get a bit of a draw shot going. An upward angle of attack for most golfers is what we want to achieve, because generally speaking, the amateur isn't swinging as fast as the pro. So you need to get that angle of attack up. When you're practicing on the driving range, out on the golf course, wherever it may be, set yourself up to that golf ball. Once you feel like you're set up and ready, move your club towards your chest, along your spine, through your belt buckle, and mine is pointing slightly towards that lead foot. So I now know that my tilt is slightly away from the target, helping me hit more up on the golf ball, helping me correct my path, helping me hit longer and straighter golf drives. Driver setup mistake number 2. And this is far too common because of some of the reasons that I've just talked about. Lots of amateur golfers are trying to hit up on the golf ball. Pushing ball position forward, in theory, is going to help you hit more up on the golf ball. But I see amateur golfers going way too far forward. So if I was to put my ball position outside and go extreme, my front foot, my club is going to hit its low point and then start to work up. And you'll hit up on the golf ball. But when you have it so extremely forward, you're going to get that low point too early. That club's going to start raising up too much and you'll probably start hitting low on the face. And in really extreme cases, you might even top the golf ball. And that is embarrassing. Hitting it lower on the face, the ball's going to launch lower, it's going to spin more. 2 recipes for short, drives. We want you to be hitting up on that golf ball. We want you to hit the middle, to slightly higher on the face. That's going to give you a higher launch, lower spin, smaller spin loft, which will also reduce that spin and give you longer and hopefully straighter golf drives. So why are people getting ball position so wrong? Yes, I understand that you want to move that ball position forward to hit up more on the golf ball, but people relate ball position so much to their feet. And I could stand like this with my driver, I could stand like this. Obviously, I'm probably not going to stand like this with my driver, as I'm not going to get the most speed. But everyone's different shapes and sizes. So in theory, our stance widths are going to be slightly different. And that's why choosing a ball position on stance width gets a little bit messy. What I get my students to do, and this is the same throughout all of their game, is try and relate ball position to your upper body. Now, we want your ball position to be on your left armpit. So basically, this is going to be our lowest point in the swing. Now, if we set up with our tilts away from the target, in the golf swing, in theory, we should have some separation between the center of your torso and the center of your pelvis on the way down in the downswing. That's what we see great driver of the golf balls doing. So if we see that separation and we get your lead armpit slightly behind the golf ball, this is going to be the longest radius in our swings. So as soon as it starts to move slightly behind that golf ball, you're now going to be hitting on the upward angle of attack. So try and get your ball position in relationship to your lead armpit. Having that ball position way too far forward is going to help that common driver setup mistake number one, which we talked about, your tilts. People that have ball position way too far forward on this line, shoulders start to go more to the left of your target for a right-handed golfer. We have to start reaching over towards it, which is where we get our tilts in the wrong position. Hitting more down, hitting more across, hitting slices, hitting pulls, hitting short drives. No thank you. Driver setup checkpoint number two is get that ball position around your left or lead armpit. That's going to help with your path. It's going to help with your angles of attack again to hit better golf drives. Driver setup mistake number three. The third most common driver setup mistake I see is how the shaft is leaning at address. So one of the most common ones I see is handle forward. So this is how we're talking about shaft lean, whether you have the handle back or have it forward or somewhere more neutral. General patterns that I see, people that have the shaft way too far forward, that will then put your grip on the club very strong. So see how I push it forward and then grip it. You might be able to see there that my grip gets really strong. So for a right-handed golfer, it's turning both hands to the right on the grip. Patterns that I see with this kind of setup, shaft lean forward, strong grip, you're going to get some big paths to the right, big hooks, low ball flights that just duck hook out of the air. A scary looking shot when there's trouble down the left, that's for sure. So the second one I see is where that shaft is leaning too far back, and then people grip it and it does the complete opposite. They get their grip weaker on the club. So for a right-handed golfer, getting both hands to twist more to the left on the grip. Set that club, that shaft lean back too much and then they grip it. Really weak grip. If I then return how I want to with my shaft leans and deliveries, that face is way open, hitting big slices again. So where do we want this shaft lean in the driver setup? Well, first of all, before we get to that, I just want you to change maybe the way you get to this point. Because what I see with the common setup mistake of shaft lean is that people set their club down first and get it to where they think is correct. And then they put their grip on the club, which is where you get those funny matchups. So shaft lean forward, grip goes on, now it's in a really strong position, or shaft too far back, grip the club, now it's really weak. You might see people, and again, this is why they're so great with the driver in their hands, like people like Adam Scott. He grips the club, he puts it on the floor first, lets it sit nice and neutral, and then grips it in his lead hand, his glove hand. So he knows that the grip and the club face relationship is in the correct spot. Now I know I'm all set up properly, my grip's on the club in the right spot, and now I can go in and place that club and point that shaft lean in a relatively neutral position. It's not towards my back right pocket. It's not towards my front left pocket. It's somewhere in between or just to the left of my belt buckle, which if I had the camera straight on, it's not quite straight on. Again, camera angles and perspectives will throw things off a little. But if I had a mirror dead in front of me, that shaft would look pretty much straight up. There was no sorts of leans going on with it. So make sure you're gripping the club before you place your club behind that golf ball. Set yourself up. Add driver setup number 1, a little bit of tilt. Add driver setup number 2, ball position. And now get that shaft lean somewhere around your belt buckle, just slightly in front of it. That will give you a straight neutral shaft lean with your grip nicely on the golf club, ready to hit longer, straighter golf drives. So there you have it. Go and check your driver setup for these 3 common golf driver mistakes I see in amateur golfers every day. You start changing them, you're going to start changing your angular attacks, you're going to start changing your paths to hit better golf drives. You might be doing a couple already, but one might just be letting you down. So make sure you're checking all 3 of them. And let me know down in the comments, is there one that was letting you down? Are you not doing all 3? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Or if there's something else that's letting your driver down that you just can't fix, let me know in the comments down below and I might be able to get a video out to you specifically. So let me know in those comments down below. And again, if you're new to the channel and you like the video and you're looking for other content around the golf swing to help you improve your golf, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button and turning all your notifications on so you don't miss any of my new uploads. For the regular viewers, thanks for watching and thanks for returning. And again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button for me as well. Thanks all for watching. I hope that improves your driver. See you all in the next one.